I've spent nearly all of my life in areas which were male dominated. When I left the conservatorium, I became production manager of the opera company. There was never a female production manager for a major company in Australia except me, and I was 15 years younger than the youngest man. And then when I ran the Trade Association for Independent Record Labels, my entire board was male. We'd head off to the international trade fairs with 10,000 men and 40 women. So you can kind of go through, when I tried to get a job in the technical side of the ABC, but I was told I had to learn to type, and that was the only way I'd get into the ABC. But I got into the ABC by going to the pub on a Friday afternoon and talking myself into the latest temporary vacancy. So I ended up being in the ABC in all the technical areas for quite some time, but I was told I couldn't. So I was always sitting in a male-dominated sphere really. So it didn't really occur to me that there was, in some ways I didn't kind of notice at the time. I noticed because I thought differently, and I would find myself in a room and something would happen and everybody in the room would leap to the solution, and I'd be standing there saying, no, you're asking the wrong question. That's the wrong question. Come back. Then they're running off down the solution path and it's the wrong question. So I was always aware there was a difference, which I saw as an advantage, not as a disadvantage, and it just was. I knew enough about the way the majority in the room thought to be able to fake that, but there wasn't a great deal of point. So I've always been aware of that difference, and I think it's really interesting that there is that difference. And both approaches are really valid. It just depends on what the situation is, and you can see in the world of work where that speed of answer is important in finance, in trading, in advertising. There's a lot of men, but in areas where you need to step back and assess what the question is, like health and medical research, you start to find enormous numbers of women, because you get the difference. And one day when we get our nurture right, you won't be able to tell. Maybe you won't be able to tell the difference, maybe. But for the moment you can. So I've always been aware that there's this great difference, but that's a good thing.